to advance and capitalize on the Pro Football Hall of Fame Village project?
MARIOL, you go first on this.
So it's important to keep in mind the scope of this project. This is very likely the largest investment, expansion, economic development opportunity that this area has seen ever. We're talking $500 million invested in this area, a $15 billion economic impact in Northeast Ohio over 25 years, 13,000 jobs created. Now, when that is something that's on the table, it becomes more and more of a reality. And with the hottest brand right now, NFL. Football is by far the most watched sport. That is a development that you are not only excited about, but any meeting that happens, anything that happens pertaining to the Hall of Fame Village, the county commissioners need to be involved in that for multiple reasons. One, to make sure that it is as big of a success as possible. If we can create 13,000 jobs and have this kind of investment in our area, what we can do building off of that is just, there's no limit to it. And the second thing is, when you have this kind of investment, we need to make sure that we're foreseeing unintended consequences, whether it be increased traffic, noise in neighborhoods, what effect it's going to have on other parts of our economy. We need to recognize these problems and make sure that we can address them before they ever happen. But when developers come to this county, we want them to, one, be able to carry out their plans as successful as possible, and two, to leave this area, and when they go to talk to another developer or a bank or a construction company, say Stark County was the best place I've ever invested in. This is, if you're going to do a project, you want to bring it to Stark County because it was the easiest, the best community to work with. And we can do this, and we can change this county with the Hall of Fame project.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Wheeler.
First of all, I fully embrace the Pro Football Hall of Fame. God bless David Baker and what his vision is in coming to this community. Biggest challenge right out of the chute is the infrastructure. We've got to build the infrastructure to support the Hall of Fame. When you want to go from 500,000 or 300,000 visitors a year to 3.5 million visitors a year, you're going to have to build off-ramps. You're going to have to build Route 30, as I like to say. Half the Steelers are down in the Hall of Fame, so we want to get their fans in and get them back home and have them spend money while they're here. And we've got to work with them in this development. We've been working behind the scenes through the Port Authority, through the Stark Development Board, putting this whole deal together, I guess I would say. One of the things I got involved in is they have two houses that the Stark Metropolitan Housing Authority was holding up the sale of to Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they were just stymied. And Ron Doherty sent us letters upon letters. I finally called Senator Sherrod Brown, and Senator Sherrod Brown, to his credit, got it done in 2 weeks. We did it on a bipartisan basis to keep the project moving forward. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is going to have a huge impact on this region, but we need to support it. We're going to have to build the parking lots. We're going to have to build the hotels. We just did it's not a big little project, but we just did that project where we're taking the dirt from the Pro Football Hall of Fame and putting it over at the county fairgrounds. Beaver Excavating is going to put some funds in the escrow account toward the Stark County Fairgrounds to make drainage improvements. So our dirt stays home. It doesn't go somewhere else. I think that's a big benefit to Stark County. I'm thrilled. I am absolutely thrilled. And David Baker's going to get it done. And 5 years from now, when they have the 2020 draft here in Stark County, it's going to be the biggest thing to hit this region in a long, long time. So I'm proud to be part of it. I'm proud to be working with them.
Would you consider raising the bed tax?
Well, first of all, I'd have to check with the Ohio Revised Code. We are having the conversation about the bed tax, putting some of the increase of some of the current bed tax into the Pro Football Hall of Fame project. Yes, I want to have that conversation. Yes, I want to have the conversation about the sales tax on the tourism district that Kirk passed. So yes, that's definitely part of the conversation. Whether I think, and we can ask the budget director over there, Chris Nichols, but we're at 3%, I believe, on the bed tax, and what it would take to raise that. I'd have to check with the legislature.
I want to hit on a couple things. I've been in meetings at the Hall of Fame where there were some serious issues coming up. The county commissioners were not there. So, Canton has led the charge on this, and this is because there has been an absence from the county on this project. Now, on the bed tax, and again, I think Richard's right, the Ohio Revised Code, I'm not sure if the county is in a position to be able to do that unilaterally, but I think that that's something to look at. Bed tax is something where it's very rare that you're going to stay in a hotel in the county that you live in. So this would be something that tourists coming into town would pay. And we're by far the lowest in the state on our bed tax. But anything that we can do to make sure that this project is as big of a success, we need to do that. And the other thing on the Hall of Fame, I think that's important, we need to look at other communities that have a huge tourist attraction. Places like Orlando, and see when a tourist comes into their area, how much is that tourist spending during their stay? And we need to look at what the communities that are getting the largest amount of money per capita spend in their community, see what they're doing right, and copy that. Because if we're going to bring in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people into Stark County, we want to make sure that they are spending the most amount of money in our county, because that's money coming in. That is the type of economic development and the money that's spent that can really transform the way that our economy operates and diversify us. So I think that we need to look at any option on the table to make sure that we are a partner that's making this project as successful as possible.
All due respect, we've been at the table since day one through the Stark County Port Authority.
Matt, before you ask your question, I have a concern. Richard, you mentioned the Steelers fan. They're going to come here and they're going to spend their money, but we're sending them
We have the
home.
lowest sales tax in the state of Ohio.
Right. I don't really want them to stay here, so.